what do you think that we in this country primarily get wrong when we're thinking about Palestinian history?
Well, how long have you got?
Not long.
Well, first of all, I think that it's significant and important that no one in this country is taught anything about Palestine. You will never, in any British curriculum, be told that when the Balfour Declaration was made in 1917, Palestinian Muslims and Christians made 95% of the population of that land. And that when we left in 1948, only 30 years later, 75% of the indigenous Palestinians were turned into refugees, many of them on the sand dunes of Gaza, where they are being annihilated in this genocidal starvation and war and act of subjugation going on at the moment. So it's very important for us all in this room to realize that it is our politicians who are responsible for this. Outside Downing Street, the building to the left is the old Colonial Office. That was where all this was planned. The Balfour Declaration took place inside Downing Street. We created that mess that has left the Palestinians refugees, continually subject to aggression, genocide, destruction, dispersal. And for Starmer today to have the outrageous idea that Palestinian statehood is something that can be gifted or endorsed in return for something other than the inalienable right of the Palestinian people is completely shocking. So we are the country that created this mess, and it's very important that we make sure that there is a serious solution to this problem, which still, although increasingly difficult because of the policies of Netanyahu over 20 years, I think is a two-state solution. Others would disagree and say a one-state, but I don't think the Israelis will ever agree to that. A two-state solution, I think, is still achievable, and we need to work.
Even now?
I think it's still achievable. The settlers can be sent back. They've only been there 20 or 30 years. The settlement blocks can be, but it needs pressure, obviously. It needs sanctions. It isn't not just a little Starmer tap on the wrist and Lamy putting out a Facebook post or something. We need to have sanctions. We need to have action by our politicians, and we need to recognize our responsibility for creating this mess and doing something about it actively in real time, no longer welcoming the head of the Israeli Air Force as we did only 3 weeks ago in the middle of the genocide when he's bombing everyone. No longer training Israeli army, which is what we're doing at the moment at Sandhurst. No longer doing the intelligence flights, which was told at the Israeli embassy do at the British Museum a month ago as Britain's contribution to the war effort, then denied on the Today program by Lamy on Monday. I think completely. I think it was an untruth. I think we have been, by all accounts, we have been doing these intelligence flights and are actively engaged with the aggressor in this genocide. So that's got to end. That's got to stop. We've also got to educate ourselves. We all need to read much more about this. There's brilliant. My one bit of bibliographic advice is wonderful Ian Black, who's the Guardian correspondent, Enemies and Neighbours, most brilliant primer. If you don't know this stuff, you need to know it. And that is the most neutral book I've read, but which gives both sides very well. I'm at the moment working on a 12-part history of Gaza for the Empire Pod, which we're going to release in September, which the opening batsman is Joe Quinn, talking about talking about the Philistines. And just to finish the question, of all the kind of things I've learnt in the course of studying for this, the most interesting to me was I thought it was the Romans who came up with the word Palestine. But in actual fact, Palestine is a word as old as literacy itself. It's in the Egyptian form, it's Peleset in the hieroglyphs. The Assyrians talk about Palestina. Herodotus talks about Palestine. The father of history says that Palestine, and he says there are Arabs where Gaza is. So it's a long, complicated history. Many people's... the Levant is the most fantastically mixed and plural and cosmopolitan part of the world. Every port has mixtures of people. And that's true of Palestine too. And people are coming in and out. It isn't just it's one people sitting there. There's migrations in and out throughout the whole of history. But there is always this group of people. And the DNA of modern Palestinians is almost identical to the Bronze Age people that... which Joe was talking about from the Bronze Age collapse from the first half. They are the same people that have always been coming in, mixed with different groups, plural and mixed and not pure, but a mixture of everything. A chutney, what Salman Rushdie calls a chutnified mix of people. But they've always been there. And they need to have a state. Now is the time. So we need all of us to work for that and to pressurize our politicians. Everyone write their MP tonight.
Thank you so much.